Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out. So welcome to the City of Fairmont's inaugural State of the City address. My name is David Kirk. I'm the communications manager for Fairmont. And just a few notes of housekeeping before we get started. Tonight's address will be filmed, so please be aware of the various cameras that are around the back of the room. Try not to walk in front of anything if you do have to exit the room at any time. Once the program has started, we would ask that you limit exiting as much as possible. And I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Dusty and Fairmont State University for helping us out and filming this event for us. After the program has concluded, there will be refreshments in the conference room, which is right around the corner. And please help yourselves and feel free to stay and chat with any city officials. We have 3 speakers this evening, and there's a common thread that ties each of their speeches and remarks together, and that's momentum. 2025 marks 10 years since I moved to the City of Fairmont to go to Fairmont State University in 2015. And over that 10 years, the last 12 months have been the most exciting and the most energy-filled that I've seen the community, that I've seen city government. And seeing that progress and that momentum, it gives me hope. But if there's one thing that I think you should take away from these remarks tonight, it's that hope takes effort. That a spark can ignite hope from the outside, but to keep that fire going, that takes effort from within. But I digress. So we have a lot to cover this evening, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our first speaker. She holds the title of Fairmont's first female mayor in the city's 126-year history. And while I served as a reporter for the Times-West Virginian, I had the distinct honor to interview her just after she was sworn in as mayor. And at that time, she told me, there's so much opportunity. There really is. Well, I think Fairmont has just begun to capitalize on that opportunity. So thank you all again for joining us this evening, and please join me in welcoming our first speaker this evening, the Mayor of the City of Fairmont, Dr. Ann Bolliard.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, it is my distinct honor to speak to you as the mayor of this great city. We've made remarkable strides over the past year, and I'm excited that we'll be sharing some of our successes this evening. We also are going to share some of our challenges and aspirations within this community that we call home. To my partners in public service, thank you for being a part of this journey with me and your commitment to this city. Fairmont is supported by so many dedicated people whose faces we might not recognize or can call by name. Rarely is their hard work a lead story in the news or acknowledged in an event accepting well-deserved awards. After a full day of serving citizens, the employees of the City of Fairmont still make time to volunteer in their communities, in their churches, care for their neighbors, coach a soccer team, or be the best Meemaw in the world to her grandchildren. The accomplishments and progress that we will be sharing tonight during the city's state address is a direct result of the leadership of our department heads and the unfailing dedication of all city employees to this city. It is an honor to work alongside of you, call you friend, colleague, mentor, and employees of this great city. The State of the City address is not only an opportunity to communicate our progress, but a way for our citizens to learn how they can be a part of shaping the future of the City of Fairmont. Some of our citizens give their time and talents by serving on commissions, others by being actively engaged and offering solutions. Tonight serves not only as sharing information, but an invitation to learn more about our city and how we may work together for the City of Fairmont. I've been asked over the years by friends, strangers, people I pass on the street, why do you stay in West Virginia? And more importantly, why do you live in Fairmont? Some answers are easier than others, and this one is a simple one for me. Fairmont has been the home of my heart my entire life, and the home for my family for multiple generations. It's where I spent summers with my grandmother on the east side, enjoying the first trip of the summer to Community Foodland to shop for all the cereal and treats that, in her words, were a scotch unhealthy and that I shouldn't tell my mother. Thursday morning trips were to Karen's Cut and Curl with my grandmother to get her hair set and curled for the week and to catch up on the news of the day with her friends. There was so much to see, so much to experience in those precious weeks each summer, and these are memories that remain with me today. I have not forgotten the first time that I saw the Wave Tech pool. I thought I'd arrived at the beach because there were waves. And another absolute joy was getting to eat just one fresh Country Club bakery roll, fresh from the oven, on the car ride back to Babe's house. Little did I realize or understand the strategic planning, the innovation, the investment that was done during those years and during those times that was for us, the people that now call the Friendly City home. This City Council has established strategic goals that will guide our city over the next 5 years. These goals were created through collaboration, communication, listening to understand what the shared vision is for this city. It's not a static document, nor will it be forgotten or sit on somebody's shelf collecting dust. So there are 6 focus areas of the strategic plan. The first one is dedicated to economic revitalization expansion within our city. Fairmont is created, committing an environment that leads to sustained economic revitalization and growth, not only for our citizens, but those economic drivers that are our local businesses. The second focus centers around efficient city services. The City of Fairmont is committed to providing a wide range of efficient, convenient services that add value and enhance the daily life of our community members and visitors. In addition, we are concentrating on efforts related to modern facilities and infrastructure. We are committed to ensuring the maintenance, preservation, and development of city facilities and infrastructures to serve all. An integral aspect of our strategic plan is centered around an exceptional group of people, many that are here today, and that is our municipal workforce. The City of Fairmont is committed to ensuring that we have a dedicated, high-achieving municipal workforce that have what they need every day to continue to be exceptional each and every day. Community safety at all levels is paramount to our city. This city is committed to protecting the welfare and enhancing the well-being of all that call Fairmont home or that are visiting our city. Community, in any sense of the word, does not exist or reside with one individual, one department, or one city council member. Fairmont is focused on and values productive, positive partnerships and collaborations with a variety of organizations, agencies, and community stakeholders. Over the last few months, 2 events stand out in my memory that not only demonstrate that this strategic plan is already in action, but has proved to me once again that the greatest contribution found in this city is our caring community. The first event was the Rotary Club of Fairmont Mini Park ribbon cutting, where we had generations from school, community gathered on Morgantown Avenue, and we came together to celebrate the improvements made through partnership and collaboration between the city, a service organization, volunteers, and citizens. Now, there was some concern from very young constituents for East Park Elementary regarding the fate of the turtle and the dolphin. I assured these young constituents, as well as I promised today, they will remain. They just need a little TLC to have fresh faces for future generations. On June 15th, 2025, our city and many surrounding communities in Marion County were affected by a natural disaster where our community saw almost 4 inches of rain fall in less than 30 minutes. First responders, our firefighters, our police officer, our public works department, county, state, our state and federal elected officials, and many others answered the call to save lives, treat injuries, and comfort those most affected by the storm immediately. This was just a beginning of the immense caring demonstrated not only by citizens stepping up to donate supplies, but by Fairmont State University opening its doors. It served as an emergency shelter, caring for those that were displaced, and serving as a hub, bringing community services together to provide an opportunity and a space for those providers to reach those affected. Thank you, Dr. Davis, and everyone at Fairmont State University that was a part of those efforts. Also, thanks to our citizen soldiers of the National Guard, Homeland Emergency Management, Marion County Rescue Squad. These areas served as not only hubs of information, distributing needed resources, but the many city employees, high school students, and many others that supported their neighbors here at the Public Safety Building, and most importantly, the Tigard Valley United Way for coordinating, supporting services, providing financial support to those affected, and tirelessly communicating and coordinating efforts in the following weeks. Brett White, you have my heartfelt and deepest respect, not only for your leadership and dedication for those past weeks, but all that are served by the Tigard Valley United Way. Thank you, Brett. During this community effort and activity, two of my partners in public service gave countless hours in helping their neighbor, rolling up their sleeves, and still continue to help our citizens today. So thank you to Julie Soul and Rebecca Roman for all that you do for our citizens each and every day. I've shared my memories and an overview of the strategic plan this evening, and we have to ask ourselves, what will be the result of this vision that I've shared? And what will be the effect of innovation and collaboration on the city that we call home? Several of the places that I mentioned and many others have been reimagined from my childhood, but the love I have for this city and this community remains. One such innovator and someone that has vision, and it is his time and his investment in our city, it is my privilege to introduce Mr. James Kane, President and CEO of Stone Tower Coffee Roasters, as well as President of the Board of Directors of Main Street Fairmont. He is a Fairmont native, and he wisely chose to call Fairmont his home for his business and is located in the heart of downtown Fairmont. So please, let's now welcome Mr. James Kane.
Thank you, Mayor Bolliard. Good afternoon, everyone. I am James Kane. As she said, I am the board president at Main Street Fairmont, as well as the chair of the Community and Economic Development Committee at the Marion County Chamber of Commerce, and president and CEO of Stone Tower Coffee Roasters, although there are some other varying levels of endearing terms for me in that role. It's an honor to be here today to help set the stage for something I think that we've all been feeling lately. Fairmont is shifting, and it's shifting in a good way. Fairmont has always had good bones, beautiful buildings, great people, rich history. But for a while, it has felt like we were stuck in a bit of a holding pattern. Like we were waiting for someone to unlock all that was possible. But lately, the doors are opening, conversations are happening. There's movement in places that used to be quiet. And not the kind of movement where we talk about things for 10 years and form a dozen different subcommittees to talk about it. The kind where things actually start getting done. Whether it's businesses choosing to invest here, residents coming together to improve their neighborhoods, or new partnerships between city government and community groups, the tone has changed. And let me tell you, that doesn't come from a press release, and that doesn't come from Facebook groups. That comes from people. People who believe in the city, people who stick around when it's hard, and yes, people who are willing to put themselves in the center of the work and say, let's do this together. Which brings me to today's next speaker. Now, I was told very clearly, and I quote, lay it on thick. So here it goes. This man came back to his hometown, took one look at the spreadsheet, and said, yeah, I can fix that. Travis Blosser didn't return to Fairmont to babysit the bureaucracy. He came back to shake it up, to be available, to be accountable, and to remind us that local government can actually be responsive, transparent, and even enjoyable. Let's not get carried away. But in all seriousness, the progress we're seeing isn't accidental. It's the result of real conversations, real collaboration, and a team at City Hall, all of you here, that is actively choosing momentum over monotony. And so today, as we look ahead to what's next for Fairmont, I invite you to lean in, get excited, ask questions, because the state of the city isn't just about what's been done. It's about what we are going to do next. Please join me in welcoming someone who's helping us turn possibility into progress, our city manager, Mr. Travis Blosser.
Thank you very much, James, and you did. You earned it. You laid it on thick. Now, I guess that means I'm going to have to buy more coffee. First, I want to take an opportunity to thank, I know there are several folks here. We have leaders of our community, our members of City Council, and our mayor. I could not do the job that I do today if not for them and the support that they give me, as well as our team at City Hall, as well as the work that they do at the dais behind me. And I understand a lot of folks see that and think this is where everything happens at. There are plenty of meetings that I have with those folks, phone calls, about different issues for their constituents on a regular basis. We have an active and engaged city council, and that is something that is very fortunate for the city of Fairmont. But we also have a lot of great supporters in our community too. Our local legislative delegation that several members are here this evening, Delegate Mike DeVault, as well as Senator Oliverio. I think Delegate Phil Mallow and his beautiful wife over there. Appreciate them being here. And then we also have members of our county commission and Commissioner Longstreth in the back. You know, this is a team effort. And so I think we are extremely excited to have everybody here. I also want to give a shout out, President Davis, as well as Dr. Semeski here this evening as well from Fairmont State University. And I also saw in the back the president of WVU, our new president of WVU here. Sir, if you would like to come up and take a seat up here, we have a seat right here, right by the coffee tycoon. And I also, kind of on an end note, thanking City Council, Mayor, other distinguished guests that are here, but I also want to take an opportunity to thank the senior leadership team and folks that are behind me. And I'm going to ask them to do something, and I know they're going to begrudgingly do it, especially Kevin Sansalone. I'd like all of those department heads or folks who are seated in department head seats to please stand. And stay standing. This city thrives and moves and has momentum because of these people standing. I could not do what I do without them. This is a team effort. I may at times probably drive them crazy, and they may at times drive me crazy. But that is a family, and we are a very tight family. We work aggressively together to accomplish the things that we know our community wants to see. And so I want you to give them another round of applause for the work that they do for our city. Thank you guys very much. You can sit down. So with that aside, I think we are excited for what we hope to be the start of a rich and important tradition for the city of Fairmont. With this inaugural State of the City address, I hope to paint a vivid picture of the state of Fairmont, but since this is the very first such address in the city's recent history, we have some catching up to do. Now, I could start in 1899 with the chartering of Fairmont as we know it, but I'm sure a lot of you who have had conversations with me would like that not to happen. So I will spare you those details and start with a more recent development. 20 years ago, in 2005, the City of Fairmont drafted two major documents, the Fairmont Renaissance Plan and the 2005 Comprehensive Plan. These documents laid the foundation and trajectory of the city for the following decades. They were the reason the Gateway Connector was constructed. They solidified the investments at the high-tech park. These documents, in their own words, sought to address a declining demographic and economic landscape that has resulted in decades of diminishing private investment in downtown and surrounding neighborhoods. So what came from these plans? What benefits are we reaping today that were sown in 2005? Well, if you ask some of the dissenting voices in town, they'll tell you they gave us the road to the hot dog stand. They gave us dilapidated infrastructure, crumbling sidewalks, and a hollowed out downtown. From what those folks might tell you, they think they were handed a picture of a tomorrow that no one had any intention of delivering. Of course, the truth is far more nuanced, and of course, any of us who have sat behind the seat of local government understand it's not that simple. And for a lot of you who have sat in my seat, and several of you here tonight have, you know that that isn't that straightforward. And while some in the community may joke that about the Gateway Connector and its roundabouts. Without that roadway, there's no way we'd see the recent development we're enjoying on Merchant Street or the packed weekends at Palatine Park. Those plans also set us up for the massive investments we made in our water utility over the last 20 years. However, while those are spots of pride within our community, there's still a lot of work to do. We are a good city, but we can be a great city. Many of us know that government moves at an agonizing crawl and how that slow pace contributed to why our city fell short in the years past. But in the end, the general public doesn't care for excuses. They just want the services they pay for to work. They want the grass cut, the parks to be nice, and the roads to be paved. Many residents think Fairmont peaked in the 60s and 70s with bustling downtown shops and a thriving industrial hum. But that is a defeatist outlook. That's an outlook that is all too resonant to many. It's so resonant that it has become reality. I don't believe that malicious actors were plotting the downfall of the city. I don't believe that there was some grand conspiracy, but I do believe that the leaders of the past decades had laid out plans for a prosperous and thriving Fairmont, and now today, we're still trying to deliver on that vision. But this dejected attitude was even present in our municipal workforce. Fairmont has suffered from financial instability in the past, and this instability has led to a culture where our departments were averse to any big ideas. That adversity persisted, even as our financial position improved. Even as new leadership within the city and within departments came and brought fresh perspectives and proposed changes, the resounding no that came from years of empty pocketbooks and a been there, done that attitude caused dreams to become smaller and smaller until we stopped asking and we stopped dreaming. Year by year, we maintained, we patched, we fixed, but we stopped building and we stopped thinking big. Not just within city government, but as a community. We settled for less than we deserve. I've said it before, and I will say it again. We deserve better. That's a pretty bleak picture to paint, but that is the reality I inherited when I took this job. In the last year, we quickly realized we had several priorities. We needed to get the dejected attitude out of the workforce and out of the public's perception. I'm sure a lot of folks in this room are familiar with my favorite slogan, Team Fairmont. To me, it is more than a slogan, they are words to live by. While I'm sure some may find it funny, I believe that it's aided in the creation of a true team environment for all of Fairmont. It's been obvious to me that since we started sharing this perspective that a change in attitude is spread across the community. That translates into ownership of place. I'll reference the Gateway Connector again. Now that our Public Works Department and their crews are in charge of mowing and landscaping, that entryway has never looked better. I can't tell you how many calls I've fielded from constituents about their compliments related to that. Others and I have noticed it's even had a bleed-over effect into neighboring properties, where residents are sprucing up their own yards to show a little community pride. In that same vein, we've invested over $3 million into our park facilities last year, bringing long overdue upgrades to neighborhoods and parks that have been neglected for decades. Norwood Park is nearly complete, and it looks amazing. But we don't want it to stand out in our parks catalog. It's our goal that all of our municipal parks be of that same caliber. Windmill Park has received hundreds of thousands of dollars in upgrades this year, and the former Morgantown Avenue Mini Park is getting a complete makeover. As we move into the coming fiscal years, we plan to do the same for Bellevue Park and Fifth Street Park. These upgrades are more than just a swing set or a slide here and there. We plan for these changes to completely reshape the identity of our neighborhood parks. We plan for the changes at Norwood to act not as an exception, but as a model for our facilities. We will continue to improve our parks to the quality that our communities deserve. But we also plan to build new and amazing public spaces. We have plans to continue to complete the expansion of the West Fork Rail Trail extension into the Beltline neighborhood, creating the start of what will become Fairmont's recreational corridor. We aren't completing these improvements because they're someone's pet project. We're completing them because they rest on ideas of more than 20 years of public input sessions, public hearings, and calls for improvements to Fairmont's trail access. Our community deserves to have a state-of-the-art trailhead right here in their backyard. These improvements will depend on public and private partnerships to promote business development along with our public investments. Over the past year, we've completely changed how we approach partnerships in the community. And we've discovered new and exciting ways to leverage the incredible work organizations are doing across our city. Our recent partnership with the Rotary Club of Fairmont and its $25,000 donation toward the renovation of the newly renamed Rotary Club of Fairmont Mini Park is another example. These partnerships set a new standard for what we expect from all organizations that want to join in on the progress we're making. One important partnership that has been lacking in the last several years is with Fairmont State University. I'm glad to tell you today that our relationship with them has never been stronger. The university's current president, Dr. Mike Davis, is just as passionate as I am about reshaping Fairmont from a town with a university into a university town. President Davis and I have had conversations on a myriad of topics that will help break down the walls between the university and our city. President Davis, thank you. Thank you for being part of what we're doing here at the city and at the university. In the coming weeks, yes, ladies and gentlemen. In the coming weeks, I plan to travel to Harrisonburg, Virginia with President Davis along with members of our staffs to tour some projects that showcase how the city of Harrisonburg and James Madison University collaborated to revitalize areas of the city that had experienced generational disinvestment. We hope to emulate that strategy and look forward to a continued and growing partnership with Fairmont State. But making things look nice, investing in parks, and fostering partnerships are the easy things. There are larger and more complex issues that we must face. Many members of our community are still reeling from the disaster that came on Father's Day last month. Some areas of our city received over 4 inches of rain in under 40 minutes. That amount of water would be difficult to imagine without the images on Locust Avenue, the flooding at Hickman Run, and the various other neighborhoods that were battered by the rain event. That amount of rain qualifies as a once-in-a-thousand-year storm. But I have to be blunt in saying that these severe weather events are becoming more and more frequent. And we have to face the reality that Fairmont has a very old wastewater system that wasn't designed to handle these levels of rain. We're not unique in these problems, though. It's happening across the country. We're reaching a critical point regarding the condition of our city's wastewater system where we will need to invest significant amounts of money to implement improvements. At our treatment plant on Howard Avenue, we anticipate that these enhancements alone will cost around $200 million, effectively necessitating the construction of a brand new plant. Additionally, our citywide sewer and stormwater system requires substantial replacements, many of which will require partnerships with public and private property owners. These repairs we need to make could push the projected cost to overhaul our wastewater collection and treatment system to over $1 billion. I didn't misspeak, that's billion with a B. But we haven't spent our time idly crunching big, scary numbers. We're actively taking steps to make improvements to some of the hardest hit areas. We're currently working and planning a $17 million storm system upgrade on Morgantown Avenue in partnership with the West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection, which will go out to bid this fall. We've installed flow meters to monitor the amount of wastewater that flows through our system so we can better understand the level of improvements we need to plan for. We're aggressively pursuing FEMA grants to repair long neglected stormwater culverts that have caused problems for decades. These improvements are necessary to the operation of this city. The increase in severe weather events has shown that to be true, and a $1 billion price tag will no doubt require rate increases. But a cost of that size cannot be borne on the backs of our ratepayers alone. And we will strive to leverage every alternative funding stream and governmental partnership to lighten that burden. Those funding streams we plan to leverage will include grant dollars. Our grant team has done amazing work and applying for over $30 million in pending grants just this year. When we consider these major improvement projects, one of the first things we seek and investigate is congressionally directed spending requests. One of the first directives that I received from City Council when I took this job was to apply for CDS grants. And earlier this year, we traveled to Washington, D.C. to meet with our congressional delegation and discuss our submissions. This wasn't a one-off sightseeing tour of the Capitol, but the start of an aggressive strategy to build strong federal partnerships and seek out funding wherever we can. For this most recent trip, we advocated for $4 million to renovate our Watson Fire Substation and to fund our citywide facade improvement grant program. Senator Capito, Senator Justice, and Congressman Moore all supported and submitted our proposals for funding, and we thank them for their support of our city and for helping us to continue to shepherd them through the process. We also plan to utilize grant funding to improve pedestrian safety in our corporate limits. Changes in traffic patterns and other limited tests are currently being planned in the Beltline neighborhood as part of our Safe Streets and Roads for All grant, which we hope to use to apply for even larger grants to improve pedestrian safety across Fairmont. City Council also recently supported a change to our street user fee, which allows us to now use those funds to improve sidewalks in addition to paving streets. It's no secret that many of the sidewalks within city limits have been neglected for years, even sidewalks in our downtown core, where we see some of our most significant foot traffic. Sidewalks are complicated due to ownership questions and other potential hurdles, but we are committed to tackling the issue. We have a significant elderly population, many of whom don't have cars or other means of transportation, and these sidewalks are their lifeline to food, groceries, and other necessities. We've made it a priority, and we're planning to replace large sections of our downtown sidewalks alongside the downtown street paving that is happening later this fall. When we talk about sidewalks and downtown projects, the topic of homelessness usually finds its way into the conversation. This issue persists in cities across the state, and as we're all aware, Fairmont is no exception. Other cities have taken different approaches in the hope of curbing the problem. Camping bans are something I'm asked about often, and frankly, I think it's a concept with questionable success. In large part, these laws are passed to feign the presence of action, a way to tell the public, look, we're doing something about the issue. When in reality, many of these ordinances don't address the root of the issue, and they are difficult to enforce. Communities are realizing that this isn't an issue you can fine and jail away. What we've recognized as a community, this is something we have to work together on. It is not something that the city of Fairmont can do alone in a box. It needs community partners, it needs state partners, it needs federal partners. And so with that, we've partnered with several nonprofits and service providers to have monthly discussions about solutions that are in the best interest of our community. Through these discussions, we found that in many cases, these individuals are being dropped off at the doorstep of the Union Mission by federal agencies, sometimes from out of state, without so much as a call to the staff to ask if they have a free bed. I've taken the stance that we have plenty of laws on our books that can be better enforced and implemented to help make our community more attractive to businesses while still treating these individuals with dignity. Last year, we restarted and overhauled our trespass enforcement authorizations, which permit us to trespass individuals from a property on behalf of the owner. We have many property owners who have enrolled in the program, and we'd like to encourage businesses across the city to sign up for this program and utilize this service that we offer. We've also increased police foot patrols downtown and increased our presence in other areas to not only keep up with the enforcement of these authorizations, but to send the message that our law enforcement officers are watching and engaged. On the topic of police, we recently approved the last round of promotions and a complete restructuring of our police department, where we've created more opportunities for growth within the rank structure. This was accomplished through the addition of more lieutenant positions and the establishment of our first deputy chief of police position. These changes aim to make our police force a more appealing career and workplace, and after several years of struggling to hire law enforcement officers, we're now nearly fully staffed. In the last year, we've laid out many of these issues that look insurmountable and broken them down into manageable pieces. Slowly but surely, we're changing the narrative from being why even try to here's where we start. Earlier, I mentioned that in the past, Fairmont has had its share of financial trouble. Those troubles contributed significantly to the lack of progress and forward momentum in previous years. But since 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic, we've rebounded tremendously and have many tools at our disposal that were not available to my predecessors. Our tax increment financing district is paying dividends and is funding the majority of the development happening at Norwood Park and the progress that is set to occur in the Beltline neighborhood. Our revenue streams are pulling in more money than they did pre-pandemic, allowing us to make critical investments in our community. The comparison in the spreadsheets is exciting to look at, but one column I find encouraging is that we are seeing more money come in from retail sales than we have in recorded city records. With these promising trends in revenues, we have to be strategic with how we plan to take advantage of these opportunities. That's why Council made it a priority that we develop a 5-year strategic plan, which we published earlier this year. In that strategic plan, we lay out several key target areas that we hope to tackle. I think the mission statement written at the start of the plan gives an apt summary of our goal. By 2030, Fairmont will be known as a modern, inclusive city that respects and values its heritage. We have copies of the plan here tonight for anyone who would like to read it over. There's a lot of information in that plan, but I'm going to highlight just a couple of my favorite projects. By the end of 2025, we plan to propose changes to downtown parking, implement outdoor dining options, overhaul and streamline business licenses, and implement the Fairmont Private Outdoor Designated Area, which has been named the Friendly City Spirits District. Those are just a few of the things I'm excited to see by the end of this year. And we plan to keep pace with the aggressive timelines that we have set ourselves. But I want to be clear. We're not promising prosperity on the other end of this plan because this city has heard enough promises. We're not touting this plan as the end of Fairmont's issues, but we are saying this is the path we're taking and the train is leaving the station. I believe Fairmont is on the precipice of greatness. And the situation we find ourselves in reminds me of another time in our history when we had the opportunity of success within our grasp. Over 100 years ago, in 1914, the city of Fairmont set out to construct a new bridge across the Monongahela River. The projected cost of the project was enormous for the time. Over $500,000 would be required. Nevertheless, the city endeavored to build the bridge. The project was bonded out, but due to a shortcoming in the city's charter at the time, the bonds could not be approved, and in 1919, construction was halted. City leadership proposed an amendment to the city charter that would allow for the bonds to be approved and construction to continue. The citizens of Fairmont came out in droves to support the ballot measure. The West Virginia newspaper published a full front-page spread in support of the new charter. One line written by an unnamed reporter sticks out to me. It reads, "It is said that there is the time and the affairs of the individual, if taken at the right tide, will sweep him on to victory. That time has come to Fairmont. Fairmont's opportunity is here. The foundation of a great city has been laid," end quote. The citizens of Fairmont resoundingly passed the new charter, with 80% of voters standing behind the prospect of progress. But it wasn't enough. The economic toll of the First World War crept its way into Fairmont, and the cost of the new bridge ballooned to over $1 million, earning it the moniker the $1 Million Bridge. In 1920, that amount of money was almost unfathomable for a project. The bonded funds and the contingencies fell short, and construction of the new bridge was once again halted. At that point, the city's government had done all it could do, but the project still fell short. Again, the citizens of Fairmont were faced with a choice, as the West Virginian put it, quote, "So it is a question whether Fairmont is to progress or is to be arrested in her development," end quote. Just as the government had seized the opportunity 1 year earlier, in 1920, the community stepped up and fundraised, fundraised over $100,000 for the completion of the bridge. That's $1.6 million today. I tell you this story because the journey from being a good city to becoming a great city requires investment from every corner of our citizenry. We in this city need to see that we don't have to settle for what we have. We deserve better. I'm here to tell you that the foundation of a great city has once again been laid. Those plans from 2005 didn't build a road to nowhere. They laid the foundation we stand on today. For the last several years, we've coasted in neutral. We've gotten in our own way. We've allowed egos to outweigh the public good. We've sabotaged. We've stagnated. We've worried so much about whose name gets on the plaque at the end of the project that we've forgotten to build the damn project. I know that the energy is shifting in this community. I can feel it. Residents are seeing progress and they are getting excited. We're shifting into drive, and those of us who are involved in this process stand ready to seize the opportunity before us. And I know that many of the residents in this city who were told to stop dreaming big stand next to us. What I'm here asking from you today isn't monetary, it's more than that. I'm asking for your attention, your time, your patience. Most importantly, I'm asking you to stand beside us ready to seize the opportunity. We have a lot of catching up to do in the coming years, and like in 1920, we have to roll up our sleeves and solve our own problems. I can see the future we can make in this city. I can see the grand vision the same way those city commissioners saw it in 1914 when they imagined that beautiful bridge stretching across the Mon. We deserve better than what we have been given. We deserve better than what we have. We deserve more than empty promises for flashy headlines. We deserve to have the prosperity that has been dangled in front of our faces time and time again. But just like in the story of that $1 million bridge, no one is coming to Fairmont to bail us out. As that unnamed reporter said a century ago, Fairmont's opportunity is here. The foundation of a great city has been laid. Today, we have to build that bridge. We have to do it ourselves because no one is coming to do it for us. Our best days aren't behind us. They lie ahead across the river, but it will take work getting there. Together, we can build that bridge to a better Fairmont. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for attending this event this evening. Thank you for being part of Team Fairmont. And thank you for helping to build the community that we deserve. Thank you.